happy Sunday. My name is Yuri. My full name is Yuriko. It is Japanese. I am Japanese Mexican, but I do live in the US for now. And I wanted to start a channel because I don't know. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about me. I am 25 years old. If you hear babbling, that's my baby. I'm 25 years old. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I felt like I needed something to vent. I just whenever I find something interesting or I find a topic that like resonates with me or that leaves me a lesson or leaves me thinking afterwards, I go crazy and I spiral into this rabbit hole, and then I am stuck with this with a issue that I have no one else to discuss it with because I never understood what women meant when they said that their friends completely just ghost them after they have kids. I didn't understand that till I had my own, and it's 100% true. I'm pretty sure that's not the experience for every single woman that has a child, but that was my experience. So I don't have much friends, and the few friends that I do have, which is like one or two, don't typically share my same interests, so it gets very lonely, and I need to talk about this with someone because I have a lot of time to think about things. So yeah. Um so yeah, that's basically what this channel is gonna be about. I'm just gonna talk about whatever the hell I want, and if you find it interesting, you can watch. If not, that's fine. I'm simply just doing this because I have way too much time on my hands, and I am gonna go insane if I don't pretend like I'm talking to someone. So yeah. So today's story is gonna be about how a woman and a man became the most hated people in the entire country. Now, I have to really specify when I mean country, I don't mean the US. I'm talking about Mexico specifically, and a lot of Spanish speaking people that are watching this video have probably heard of this story, but I know that a lot of English speakers have not. So I feel like it's something I have to touch on, okay? And the reason why I'm choosing this story it's because it's something that really stuck with me, and what I learned about this is that it's really hard to trust people. Not only that, I feel like even the people that you feel like you're most comfortable with, or that you feel like you can trust more than anything in the world, can stab you in the back and can hurt you and can push you to do things or to feel a certain way when you're not even aware. So I have this fascination. I don't know, maybe I am kind of sick, but I have this fascination with people that do shitty things and have no remorse. And I don't know why I do, but I just do. And when I stumble across people like this in real life, or when I hear about them, or when I don't know, when I just see it or experience it, it gets me so upset. And I just wish a motherfucker would. I'm kidding, but this story boils my blood. So let's just go ahead and get started, and you guys can tell me your opinions in the comments down below. I am almost 5 minutes into the video, so don't worry. I will leave a timestamp so you don't have to hear my rambling. Alright, so moving on. This story, like I said, it's about treason. It's about how two people became the most hated people in an entire country. It's about cancer, about love, about deception, and about really unhappy endings, which I feel like are more realistic than things we watch, so I feel like that's why this story resonates. I mean, it doesn't really resonate because I have nothing else to compare it to, but it really, it leaves you thinking. So we're gonna start at the beginning, like always. The story starts with two lovely women, two ladies. Both of their names are Carla. So we have Carla and Carla. So from now on, I am just going to refer to them by their last name. That way it doesn't get so confusing. So I'm gonna use Panini and Luna. So yeah, I know that one of them sounds like bread, but whatever. Moving forward. So Panini and Luna, they both started their careers on television. So they started doing little gigs here and there. Luna was she used to do the weather. So she was in charge of like the weather forecast for the city of Monterrey. If I'm not mistaken, they were part of a show called The Club, and that's, of course, Panini was part of it too. And she had a segment of her own, and she would just do interviews and, just little things here and there. Those were her first appearances in the public eye. The show that she used to be in, or that she aired in, was called The Club, and the person that produced this show and worked alongside of her, his name was Oscar Burgos. Now, I mentioned this guy, Oscar, because he's going to be important in the story later on. Okay, so moving forward, Luna, who was the forecast, the weather girl, she had a relationship with this guy, and his name was Americo. So, really, the four most important names that we have to remember are Luna, Panini, Americo, and Oscar. Luna was seeing Americo, and Panini was seeing Oscar Burgos. Okay? So Panini fell in love with Oscar, and it was, people kind of saw it with like a bit of a side eye because there was a huge age gap. But I mean, he almost doubled her in age. But I mean, despite that, she really fell in love with him, and they had a baby together. They got married, and while all of this was going on, and Luna was also in a relationship with Americo, Luna and Panini met, and they became really good friends through this show. Their friendship grew like no other, and they started a show. And the show was basically about. It was they were skits. It was a stand up. It was stand up comedy, and it was called Las Lavanderas. So, just a little bit of backstory. That way, we can kind of further understand, or we can understand better the premise of the show. It was basically about women that were washing clothes and in putting it in the clothing line, and they were gossiping. So in Mexico, it's very common for you to, let's say, have one lady on the neighborhood that makes a living out of washing clothes. And that's what a lavandera is. It literally translates to the washer. So these ladies, they pick up your clothes, let's say on a Monday. Oh, actually, bad idea. Let's say they pick up your clothes on a Sunday. They'll go ahead and wash, and they'll have your clothes ready by Wednesday or by a Monday. So they'll pick up your clothes like once or twice a week, and they'll hand wash your clothes, and they'll hang it up in clothing lines. So that's what these that was the premise of the show, and it was perpetuating the idea that women that usually do this for a living, they like to gossip and they like to talk smack. So using that as a jumping point, they used to do skits of them washing clothes and hanging them and just talking about like mainstream media and the newest gossip about celebrities. And so it was a very popular show. I mean, they rose to fame relatively fast. And it was great. They were the up and coming, and when they rose to fame together, Luna was pregnant with her daughter, and after her daughter was born, she found out she unfortunately had cancer and she needed to have her womb removed. She was in time for treatment. And it was very hard. It was very hard on her, and people were just wondering, and there was a lot of rumors flying around, but one of the biggest rumors, and again, this is all alleged, was that she had gotten cancer from an STD that really wasn't treated. And the rumor was that her husband or her current partner, who was a medical, had given her that STD. So nothing was really ever confirmed. She never really said anything, but after she fortunately beat cancer, her and her husband were just inseparable after that. And of course, her best friend Panini supporting her through all of this, right? Through her cancer, financially and emotionally supporting your friend. I mean, as you should. Imagine your friend going through something so hard. And then not only that, but there were a lot of changes in her life. Was a new mom. She was also working on her career, her rise to fame. I feel like when everything hit, like having a kid is overwhelming as it is, but I can't even imagine dealing with that, and then with all of that on top of that. It's just, it's crazy. Props to this girl. So yeah, she beat cancer, and like I said, her and her, she felt like she got a second shot at life. Like, imagine sometimes you feel like you have to, especially if you have kids. Like, I feel like you won't understand this till you do, but you feel like even when you're at your worst or when you're going through something, like you have to pull through for them. And I feel like that's what she was feeling at the moment. And I mean, yeah, she made it through, and that show aired in Telehit, which, don't quote me on it. I don't know if it's a channel or a network, but they aired there for a while, and they, I remember they did a lot of tours, and money was coming in. They were doing great. These girls were awesome. And so after she beat cancer and she was doing all of this with her show and she was just getting better and better, Luna notices a shift in her husband. She just, listen, if you're a woman, you just, you know, like us women, we have a very strong instinct, and sooner or later we just end up finding out, you know. We know when things are off. We're always very, we catch on to a lot of things that men typically don't. As much as men hate to admit it, it's true. Like, men aren't very good at hiding their emotions, and they tend to be very obvious. At least most of them do, right? So her husband's demeanor towards her changed, and she was like, what the hell, right? And she felt like her husband was cheating on her, and she had all of these assumptions all this time, and she just couldn't get that off her chest. But she couldn't really say or tell him anything because she didn't have proof. And it's hard to feel like you're insane when you have a hunch feeling and all they do is deny, 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 and it turns out you were right all along. It's like, bitch, really? So yeah, she felt like her husband was cheating on her, and she couldn't figure out with who or how. But yeah, that was the experience she was living. And at the same time, Panini, who was her best friend, was going through a divorce. So it was hard. They were both going through their problems, and she got a divorce because apparently it was stated, or she stated to the public, that it was because Burgos and her had a very busy lifestyle. And so, I mean, understandably so, if you work in the media industry, like, I'm pretty sure it's very demanding, and you can't be with your family. You can't set that time aside, and so that's lethal to a marriage, right? Like, it's important to give yourself time with your significant other, even outside of kids. So it was understandably so, but a few weeks after that, it was rumored that the reason why Panini really had a divorce was due to an infidelity, but it was just, I don't know how Mexican paparazzi does it to find everything out. I have no idea, but it was just a rumor, right? And so it was it was a very strange time because their friendship wasn't doing bad, but Luna was severely depressed, and the public was able to tell. And she was severely depressed because she was being mistreated by her husband, and I mean, I haven't been there, but I can only imagine how bad it must suck to feel like you're no longer loved. Feel like the person you lay every day at night with, that like wants nothing to do with you, or calls you crazy, or instead of validating your feelings and making you feel like there's nothing going on, like they just straight up deny and get angry. So this is really affecting her mental health. So the dynamic was there, but it was different. And unfortunately, cancer appeared, and it appeared again. And around this time, Luna's sister, coincidentally, she loses her phone, right? So her blood sister, right? She's like, "Hey, I lost my phone. I don't know what to do." So Luna goes, and she's like, "Oh, my husband has a phone that he hasn't been using." So I think you know where the story's going, right? So Luna's sister is like, "Great, whatever. I'll take this phone." So as she does, she puts her new SIM card in, and obviously this guy isn't the brightest. He denies it, but he forgot to erase his text messages. And that is the day when Luna found out who her husband Americo was cheating on her with. Cancer and everything. She finds out that her husband Americo was cheating on her with her so-called best friend, Panini. Yeah. So this idiot forgets to erase messages with Panini, and she finds out that these two slugs, these two poor excuses of human, were having an affair, and this affair was like a 4-year relationship. She describes it as she describes that they would talk to each other like a married couple. Like, it was how advanced this sick relationship was. And in the messages, she didn't, like, she not only discovered that she was being cheated on, she discovered that the reason why her husband's demeanor and the reason why her husband changed so much towards her was because Panini was telling Americo to fuck her life up. She was literally telling him that she hates it when he treats his wife with some dignity and respect. She told him that she couldn't stand when he treated her okay, even though she was sick. Like, how fucking sadistic and evil and nasty. Like, this sounds like it's straight out of a skit or straight out of like a play, or I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound real. And she would tell Americo not to pay for her cancer treatments. And this was, I mean, it was horrible, right? And this woman was working and she wasn't entitled to her compensation because this guy was in charge of the finances, so he would redistribute the finances whenever they would go on tour, because yeah, they had a show, but they would also go on tour and do stand-up comedy, and so they were making bank from that. But this guy was in charge of distributing money, so he would always say that there wasn't enough money, or he would always go around it in order to not pay her. Like, he wouldn't pay his freaking wife because Banini was telling him to not pay her and to not pay for the cancer treatments after this woman was working while she was sick, while she had his kid. Like, how, well, his kid, sorry. But how fucking demented do you have to be that way, to be that evil, to be that nasty? Like, I don't understand. It blows my mind. So Luna obviously confronts these two pieces of scum, garbage. Oh my god, I hate them. My blood is boiling. So Luna confronts them, and they admitted to everything. They said it all started with a kiss, and that it just progressed into something more, and that it was a very passionate relationship. La di la di la di la. So they, I mean, at this time, this is how I know this woman was a saint. And she was just built so different, and it's so sad, and it breaks my heart every time I hear this, because they were still doing the show together, you guys. Like, this woman had it in her heart to show up to work every day and look at the woman that ruined her and pretend like nothing happened. And it got to a point where obviously the show was too awkward to watch, and they had to split up. And in the last goodbye of the show, this queen, this beautiful, amazing angel of a human being, she said that everything was forgiven. She said that she didn't want any hatred towards Panini, and she said that everything was just forgiven. She wanted to turn over a new leaf. Like, that takes, I don't know, that's another kind of strength. Like, this woman is just, she deserved so much better. And so it was too late for that. I mean, the public knew what was going on, and all of this was very much in the public eye, and Panini became the most hated woman in Mexico. And Amerigo wasn't taken, or he wasn't received by the public very fondly, because after all of this went down, he blamed everything on his ex-wife. He blamed her of cheating on him as well, and threatening to end her life if he left. And while this woman was still battling with cancer, these two slugs, these two disgusting human beings decided to get married. Like, I don't understand. They got married through like, fuck. First of all, fuck everyone that went to that wedding. Like, oh my god, I wish. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know where to direct my anger. But anyway, while she was fighting while she was fighting cancer, this angel, this beautiful woman, this queen, these two get married, right? And they get married in Christ, and this bitch says that in Christ there's no karma. And she goes on about her life, like, literally no fucking remorse, just straight up evil, nasty, doesn't give a fuck, is the most berated, hated, trolled on woman in Mexico. Still no fucking remorse. And unfortunately, in 2017, Carla Luna lost her battle to cancer. And it was devastating. It was devastating for the whole country, because this was her third time battling cancer. And after all of this came to light, people say that she was alone going through all of this, but I don't like that narrative, because I feel like she wasn't really alone. She did open a YouTube channel, and she would answer questions, and she had a large following, and she was loved by many, and she was emotionally and financially supported by people that truly did care for her. And she did have friends in the media that did love her and care for her, very much so, like family. So she did get to experience what true friendship was, and it wasn't all bad for her, but she definitely deserved so much more. And so she passes away, right? And I mean, obviously, after all of these opportunities, her health was declining. She felt like it was time to go home. She passes away, and Americo tries to be there for his kids. So he chooses that he's going to go to the funeral, and obviously, her family didn't take it well at all. Like, at all. He was fucking detested. Like, imagine, I feel like at that point, just go and dance on someone's grave. You have no fucking dignity. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. So he goes to the funeral, whatever, time goes on. Obviously, the two little girls that they had together are in custody of her family because of everything that happened, and rightfully so. Like, shit, I don't know. I feel like people like that don't deserve kids. They don't deserve anything in life. They're just, I don't know. I do know what they deserve, but I'm not going to talk about it on here because whatever, right? So yeah, the two little girls, they stayed with Luna's family, and you would think, right, that okay, Luna is resting, nothing more is going to happen. They're not going to be abusive. They're not going to take advantage. This is the end of the story. Like, you're wrong. It gets worse. It gets fucking worse. Okay. So, little girls in custody of Luna's family. This guy goes, he has some visitation, right? So he would go, and the grandma was there one time, Luna's mom. And this poor lady, she made the mistake of leaving the two girls alone with their biological dad. And I mean, it sounds weird because it's their biological dad, but again, I don't feel like this man deserves anything. So this guy snatches the little girls, takes them, literally kidnaps them, like rips them apart. Like that's literally the definition of ripping them apart. Rips them apart from Luna's family, takes them into custody, and does a legal loophole to keep the girls. So now the ball's in his court. And this fucking guy, he tries to talk to Luna's family, and he's like, you're gonna see them, but it's gonna be under my conditions. So he tells them, you'll be able to see your grandchild or your grandkids until you accept Carla Panini in your life as their mom. Like, yeah, I'm not making this up. Like, what the fuck? I'm speechless. So obviously Luna's family, they love the girls, but it's a very hard place to be in. And this nasty scum poor excuse of a father and a human being puts them through this, and they're like, fuck no, we're not gonna do it. They've been trying they've been trying to gain custody again, and they've been through some legal battles, but obviously if you're the biological parent, you get the rights over your child if one parent is deceased, and I'm sure this guy had plenty of time to screw them over. So yeah, these people, Luna's family, they don't see their granddaughters, and there's nothing that connects these girls to their actual mom, and it's so so sad. And what's worse is that they call Carla Panini mom. Yeah, they call her mom. And so you're wondering, like, what's happening, right? Like, where are they now? So they are living their life unbothered as can be. They supposedly, they said they turn over a new leaf, and this topic resurfaced again. I feel like a year or two ago, because this lady was saying that she was just tired of the hate that she was receiving online, and that everyone involved, all the parties involved, were finally resting. Yeah, like they were finally at peace. Like she was literally saying, I won, she's dead, shut the fuck up. That's basically what that sounds like to me. Like fucking disgusting. This woman's a demon. So she's saying that she's gonna turn over a new leaf, and so that's basically the end of the story. And this lady's berated, she's spit on, she's talked about in public. Whenever she opens up a new social media account, a bunch of people try to knock it down. They send her memes, they send her death threats, and she experiences that online and in public. So it leaves me with a lot of questions and a lot of like, I don't know. I feel like if anything, this story is an example that you don't always have to be the bigger person, and that sometimes people deserve to have a brick thrown at their heads. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's alleged. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, all I'm thinking about, like, yeah, it happened, right? Like, fuck that guy. Like, she, whatever. Trash took itself out. But I cannot stop thinking about the girls. Imagine all the psychological and all the emotional damage that these two beautiful girls are gonna have when they grow up. Like it's so sad, and it's so sickening to think about, and it's so, I don't know, like what are their plans? Are they planning to keep these girls on like no internet? like like, do they think that they're never gonna grow up and find out everything? Like, how crazy is it that as an adult or as you're a teenager or whatever, and you start to comprehend more and more how the world works, you Google your family, right? And you find out that your so called mother isn't really your mother and is your stepmom. And she used to be your mom's best friend and she got with your biological dad. Like I I don't know. I don't comprehend it. If you have any thoughts on this story, just leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say on it. It's fucking disgusting. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the story, guys. Tune in next week. I'm going to try to post as often as I can. So I'll try to find a new topic and come up with something else. We'll see how this video does. But yeah, leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you like what I have to say. If you like the way I talk. If you feel lonely. If you just want to vibe here. Like, this is going to be your safe spot, okay? Uh, so yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.